Hi everybody, today in ArchiCAD we're going to be exploring the view options settings. If we go in the view tab, we can see we have on-screen view options that help us kind of decide what we want to show in our drawings. There are different details that we can choose to emphasize and even take off if it gets too busy in our drawings. So the first one is clean wall and beam intersections. This one is very helpful in the connections of walls. Sometimes we like it when they connect and show the connection is clean and they connect in certain ways. So if you ever are drawing and all of a sudden you hit a button or you don't know what you did and all of a sudden your walls just aren't connecting like this. Let's say it goes all the way to the end but still has the line there, and you try to undraw and redraw this wall, but with no success. You can check your view options and make sure the clean wall beam intersections option is on. This automatically cleans up all these intersections and makes the transitions smoother. Works for walls and beams. The second one we're going to go in and see is the wall and beam reference line. I actually turned this on without even knowing it once and was super confused at what it was even doing. But it's actually very helpful in that it shows, here I'll show you, it shows which way you drew the walls. So you can see the arrows on every wall and they indicate the direction the wall is referencing. And so this can be helpful, but it can also be in the way. It kind of depends on your style and what you're used to using. So if you're like me and accidentally turned it on once and don't want it, you can go back to the view and your on-screen view options and turn it off. But it also can be a rather handy tool. Another one of these options we're going to see is the roof pivot line. So if I were to go into my roof plan, okay, we see, let's do this one for example. This roof here, you see the blue outline here, that's the pivot line. And I chose to have the pivot line follow my second floor, the base underneath. You can't see it. The wall's right underneath this and it just follows the walls there. So let's say you are working on a roof and you don't see the blue line, or you're working on the roof and you don't want to see it anymore. You can go into the view options and turning it on, you will see it's already there. You don't have to click it to find out where the blue line is or where the roof pivot line is. So I'll turn it off again. You can see how it disappears, or you can bring it back. I personally feel like it helps indicate the walls below for certain roofs, as well as you can tell the difference of where the overhang starts. This is where the overhang starts and it hangs over 2 feet. Nice. The next one we're going to look at, okay, so these are for stairs. We're going to go to a set of stairs. Okay, cool. We're going to see these set of stairs here and turn on some of these options to explain more about these. We can see the stair baseline. I click that, it shows the direction there. That's kind of handy in that we can tell that, oh, I go up this side and I can curve around and go up here. Also, it could go up into this room here. That line is, sometimes I've seen it where it's in the middle of the stairs and it goes up and says up or down, kind of in the middle. But I actually kind of like how that illustrates the directional movement of the staircase without really getting in the way of the whole thing, because your drawings sometimes get super clustered. The next one is the railing. We can see the railing reference line. Choose to see that or not, as well as the stair calculated walk line. See, that's what I was talking about. It shows exactly what this is. Shows how it winds its way over. It's kind of like right in the middle of your stair, which can be helpful since my stairs are rather small. So if I'm looking at the whole floor plan, it's good to see, oh, the arrow goes all up there. But as I zoom out, you can see the arrows also get larger, which is handy. So whichever one you prefer, those two do very similar. They explain the information that is similar, but you can kind of choose which one you want. I might keep the baseline one on, so I'll take off the railing reference as well as the stair calculated walkway. Okay, this next one I'm going to show you. You've heard of line weight, how different in drawings, different lines represent different things. And when you do true line weight, that's where it turns on almost like thick lines in Revit, but it kind of brings out detailed lines as such. It has an automatic setting which you can customize in the object itself. For your tool, I could adjust this object settings to appear differently when it is in its true form. See, it's at 0.16. I can change the size of that pen. So you can manually change this as well as just use the automatic setting, but that is the true line weight as to what you have set. Something I find to be helpful to show kind of true lines without using it clear out is to use the bold cut lines. So right now it's on, but if I turn it off, you can see how this wall is cut into, because this is the whole floor plan is cut at the 4 feet high, right? So this wall is cut and we're looking down at it. And when I turn on the bold cut lines, it kind of outlines what got cut, outlines that wall. Let's see what else. What else kind of things do I cut? Well, mostly walls. Everything else doesn't really. Yeah, everything else doesn't really get cut. But it helps with walls and kind of brings them out, makes them stand out more, I feel, which is super helpful. Okay, another one I'm going to show you. Okay, vertical hatching. This one's actually really kind of funny because we have nice hatching showing the siding as well as the insulation. But if I were to take off the vertical hatching, it would just use a different kind of hatch patterns, and it just makes everything, it makes it super mini. And so if that's the way that you like it, or if that is helpful to you, feel free. I personally feel like the vertical hatching is a little more readable, but it's whatever you prefer. And that's a cool option that you can use. Marker hatching, I'm gonna turn that on. We're gonna scroll out and see our different elevational lines. Those now show up. I didn't give you a chance to see it without it on, so I'll turn it back off. And you can see that I turn it off and those lines disappear. I can't really tell where this marker has been set or how far out it is set to, so I can turn that on. But sometimes this has happened. Sometimes I've been drawing and this line has really gotten in the way. And of course, probably would be helpful to move it to a helpful spot like where they are now. But when you're in the middle of drawing and you're not quite sure where you want your elevational markers to be yet, sometimes it's kind of bothersome for them to be in the way. But a way that you can still see them, but they're not just a thin line that looks like some other thin line that you drew. You can use the highlight marker source. And it kind of gives you a little line. And it's super helpful in interior elevations, and that this whole highlighted area I will see in my elevation, interior elevation. Actually, it's building section, but I used it as an interior elevation. You see, I have the whole area there that it highlighted in my section cut. So that can be handy, and it's more than just the thin line, so you can tell it's not just a random line in your drawing. Okay, the next ones, these last three are in actually the layout sheets. I'm still working on my elevations, so ignore the accuracy thereof, but I'm turning off some of these things that you can see difference. Drawing frame, so I turn this off, you won't see the dotted line around these boxes anymore. It makes it look, it's helpful when you're adjusting them, but you might not always want them on professionally. I can also take off the master items of layout, which happens to be my bottom bottom footer. So if I take it off, it's not going to show it. So maybe I have a sheet or a layout that is not necessarily a part of the exact master layout pattern, that I don't want to follow that pattern, I can just click it off. So that way I don't have to create a whole different sheet kind of a thing. But yeah, so that's different settings in the on-screen view options. I found it rather helpful to understand what I'm really looking at and what I really want to show. And it's also helpful if you accidentally press something or you don't know what happened and all of a sudden you're not seeing what you want to see. First thing you can do is check your on-screen view options and make sure you have your settings the way you want them. That clears up a lot of confusion. But there's many other options here in the View tab, so feel free to explore those and see how these can help you also coordinate your drawings. But good luck with that, and feel free to comment any questions. Thanks.